Chris Humphreys, tax partner at BHP here. The Chancellor of Exchequer, Philip Hammond, has announced the date of his second autumn budget as being the 29th of October 2018. 3 weeks earlier than expected, which has meant, I think, that lots of civil servants have had their half-term holidays spoilt, and slightly later in the day at 3:30, which means that those of us that are having to work around the detail are probably going to have to work late into the night. Now, as a tax partner, the first question that most people ask me is, what do you think is going to be in the budget? And this is really, really tricky this time. Obviously, we've had the party conference season, we've had Dancing Queen Theresa May and Chuck Out Checkers as Boris Johnson made his play for leadership of the Conservative Party. But the bottom line is that this budget is framed directly in relation to Brexit. At the moment, we're going through an EU summit, which isn't going very well, and the idea is that that will flow towards an EU Brexit deal mid-November, early December. So this budget really is the sandwich between Brexit. And it may be that because of that, the Chancellor feels squeezed in exactly what he can do. And I'll give you an example. So let's talk about VAT. VAT is an EU tax. It's legislated within the European Union, and because of that, I don't expect there to be much in terms of VAT in this budget. Apart from maybe the usual anti-avoidance legislation, which seems to assume that most people are avoiding VAT in some way or other. Similar vein, let's talk about corporation tax. Corporation tax is going to reduce to 17% over the next couple of years. And outside of Brexit, I would expect it to reduce further as the Chancellor tries to promote UK PLC as a tax haven for businesses to develop and pay their tax. I don't think that's going to change. It's probably too aggressive in the light of the Brexit negotiations. And following on from that, probably things like research and development tax credit, which is a state aid, and again is across the EU region, is something that's unlikely to be changed in this budget. Not to say that this won't happen post-Brexit, but it does mean that quite a lot of the measures that would look to address the productivity gap within UK PLC are not going to be dealt with until after Brexit deal is signed. So what will we see? Okay, well apparently austerity has ended. Theresa May has said that austerity is out the window and we can now look to engineer some kind of social change by manipulation of fiscal policy and government policy. And how are we going to do that? Well, the Office of Fiscal Studies has said earlier this week that an overall tax increase of 1% across the entire tax base is required to fund the improvements and changes to the NHS and other social care measures. So what will we end up with? Well, higher rate tax relief on pension contributions been muted for quite a few years as something the government will look at, and I think it might be the time that this is effectively going to happen, which will reduce the rate at which you get relief for your pension contributions down to potentially basic rate. What about changes to national insurance? Well, again, the abolition of Class 2 national insurance has been deferred indefinitely. So will national insurance be a means of increasing the tax rate by any other way? Capital gains tax, still pretty attractive compared to normal income tax rates, 20 or 28% compared to the higher rates of income tax, and even 10% if you look at entrepreneurs' relief. So is this something, an easy win for the Chancellor to increase the tax take? Only time will tell. But as a dyed-in-the-wool tax practitioner, I will say that before entrepreneurs' relief, there was taper relief, and before taper relief, there was retirement relief. So there'll be something around there. Personal allowance is heading towards 12,500, and the level at which you start to pay higher rate tax is going to trend towards 50,000. So the framework within which the Chancellor can do something is pretty narrow. So it is a Brexit sandwich. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of it and whether the filling in that sandwich is sufficiently robust to deliver the anti-austerity measures and to deal with the uncertainty over Brexit. And for more details, why not come along to our seminar on the 6th of November, where I'll be telling you all more about it. Thank you.